What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What is this? I have never read something that so loudly implied that the author was very interested in horses. And no, if you've read this, you know that horses don't have horns, but you know what I mean. If you put all of the interspecies boning aside, this isn't terrible. It has a pretty solid plot. The dialogue is mostly fine. The characters are all fairly generic and vapid. But this book is not a character study or an exploration on the communication between a small petite human woman and a 7-foot blue alien with horns and velvety fur. This is a book about what it's like to get your skull thumped internally by a 7-foot blue alien with horns and velvety fur. Basic plot summary, no spoilers. Georgie, yes, that is her name, is a small human woman who is abducted from Earth along with a handful of other small, beautiful human women by little green men and some other aliens that are described as having basketball-like heads. And they are abducted to be pleasure employees on another alien planet. In classic sci-fi fashion, these aliens encounter car trouble and decide to stash their cargo of beautiful human women on an ice planet while they go get their car fixed, and then will come back and pick up the beautiful women cargo. How long will they be gone? Nobody knows. Their prison cell cage thing is damaged upon landing on the ice planet, and Georgie manages to escape to go for help. But this is an ice planet, and she is very small, and she immediately gets caught up in like a rabbit trap and is awoken in her newfound captivity by having a 7-foot blue alien with horns absolutely going to town on her lunchbox. And that's where I'll stop for the dozens of you who are undoubtedly very interested at this point. Vectal, who is our primary barbarian in this story, is the chief of his tribe and a superior warrior and a absolute gentleman, and proves himself to be very elegant of tongue. At one point, I lost track of how many times Vectal and Georgie couple up. It wasn't even very kinky so much as it was pervasive. I think the whole "I'm boning an alien" thing stops being interesting after about the dozenth time. The amount of genital talk in this book was staggering. Vectal is pretty much always talking about his penis or other pieces of Georgie's anatomy. And I think pretty much every part of that dude's body is sensitive to arousal, because she just sometimes looks at him and he's like full body boner. For me, it wasn't really fun, and it got old pretty fast considering this book is only 200 something pages. There was an epilogue and like some extended scenes, but you know that I did not read that. Plot done, book closed. The aliens do have somewhat of a forceful nature to them, if you get my drift. So if that's not up your alley, then watch out for that. Other than his initial "let me wake you up with my tongue" greeting, Vectal is very respectful of Georgie. Sometimes that teeters into being very possessive of her, but that gets explained in the plot, and sometimes it's sweet and sometimes it's a little like forceful, like I said. When some of the other aliens learn that there are other human women on this planet, they get a little feral about it, but it doesn't really go beyond that. And the romance in this book is not even really actually romance, but I'm not going to say any more about that part because that would be a spoiler. This is the horniest thing I have ever read based on pure lust, but it is not the kinkiest. This was basically missionary with a space alien 47 times. Maybe the kinky part is that the alien has velvety fur and horns. The horse thing keeps coming back for me. So if that's up your corral, you'll probably be into this. It's hard to talk about this in terms of its artistic merit or its value as literature, because I have searched and it has been found wanting, in my opinion. But it is definitely entertaining for the right crowd. For Jeff, 2 out of 5 hammers.